everyone, this is Veronica. Today we are going to discuss very important topic, that is the ambiguity which is over the electoral college of president election in Jammu and Kashmir, that whether J&K, the MLAs from J&K, will they take part in the electoral college of president, that means in the presidential elections. We are going to discuss that. For my video updates and queries, you can contact me on Instagram and Facebook, because I feel together we can make a huge difference. So now, what is the relevance of this topic? So if we see from the prelims point of view, electoral college of president is very important, and if we say mains, then president's election and impeachment process is very important, right? So it's being covered under polity, central government, president, UT, special area. So we have, these are the parts of the syllabus where it will be covered. So now, why it is in news? Firstly, because recently what happened, the Election Commission of India, that is ECI, they have replied ambiguously to an RTI query. So there was a person who filed an RTI, that is a right to information query, and they replied that if the Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir will be, so this was the question, that whether the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir will be a part of electoral college for the election of President of India or not. So there could be two questions arising from here in your mains, like what comprises the electoral college of the President of India. So you should know the presidential elections in detail. And second, you could be asked over the cases where the constitutional amendment acts are required. If they are required, what are the amendments, how it can be done, how J&K be a part in the presidential election. Now see what the Election Commission has replied over this RTI. So the RTI request, they asked for a list of states and union territories and their legislative assemblies which would be part of presidential election. This query was basically to confirm that whether the Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir, because it is recently formed, it is newly formed, whether it will be part of electoral college. So here Election Commission has sent just a single line response, and this response is that refer to Article 54 of the Constitution of India, that if you need to know the answer of this question query, refer to Article 54. So from examination point of view, this Article 54 also becomes very important. So now, what is this Article 54 of Constitution? So under Article 54, the President is elected by an electoral college which consists of the elected members of both houses. If we are saying elected members of both houses of parliament, that means your Lok Sabha and your Rajya Sabha, and the elected members of legislative assemblies of the state. So all the states where the members are elected. So remember this word also, only the elected members, okay, of the legislative assemblies of the states, and also of NCT of Delhi and Union Territory of Puducherry. So this is what the Article 54 says. So it only specifies and mentions Delhi and Puducherry as eligible to be part of electoral college. But there is no word about the newly formed Union Territories of J&K and Ladakh. So that is why there is ambiguity. Now talking about J&K, you should know that recently what has happened in J&K, the J&K Reorganization Act, which came into existence on August 2019, it does not specify anything about whether the legislature of J&K would be able to vote in the election for a president. But if you see, there is a passing mention that J&K legislature would have the same powers as its Puducherry counterpart. So this passing mention comes in the section 13 of the Reorganization Act 2019. So there is an astonishing thing to note, that not a single MP in the parliamentary debate has pointed out this fact yet. But this passing comment that it has the powers equal to Puducherry, its counterpart Puducherry, but this statement does not make J&K eligible to take part in the presidential elections, because there is a constitutional amendment that would be required. Why? You need to understand there that if you need to include new members into the electoral college of president elections in Article 54, it would require a constitutional amendment to be carried out, and this constitutional amendment, if you need to carry out, it needs 2/3 majority in parliament and ratification by over 50% of the states. So this matter involves principles of your federalism, hence constitutional amendment is much. Even in the case of Delhi and Puducherry, when they were included in the Electoral College of presidential elections, through Article 54, a constitutional amendment was done, and this amendment was 70th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. Before that, Article 54 consisted only the elected members of parliament and the legislative assemblies of the state. So this is very, very important. So here, let us discuss about the presidential elections in India. Who are the people who can vote for the president? So president elections are the indirect elections. So as I already explained, the Article 54 explains elected members of both the houses. Once again, I have written down. But here I want to tell you one more important thing, because usually you know who votes for the president. But the main question can also come here, who does not take part in president's election. So who does not take part? See, remember this, nominated members. So that is why I focused on the word elected members, because nominated members of Lok Sabha, which are 2 in number, and Rajya Sabha, which are 12 in number, they cannot take place in presidential elections. Then your nominated members of legislative assemblies, members, alright, so nominated members cannot take place. And third is members of legislative councils, both elected or nominated in bicameral legislatures. So tell me in the comment box which states have bicameral legislatures. So these members, who are known as MLCs, they cannot take place in presidential elections. And then nominated members of union territories of Delhi and Puducherry, again they cannot take place in presidential elections. And for you should know about Right to Information Act 2005 also. The main objectives here, this act was brought to empower the citizens, to promote transparency and accountability, to contain corruption, to enhance people's participation in the democratic process. And the reason for adoption of Information Act was there were many corruptions and scandals taking place at that time. There was international pressure and social activism to such level that this act was brought in to modernize and make the society informed. So this is all about today's lecture. If you have any queries, you can contact me on social media. The PDF will be available on my Telegram channel, that is t.me/Veronica_Om, or you can just search Veronica Study IQ. Thank you.